How's it going, guys? Today is Saturday, April 10th. This is going to be the weekend edition. We are not going to be doing a live stream tomorrow. Look, we normally do them Sundays, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But instead, I'm going to go through a list of charts with you guys. We'll take a look at SPY, the QQQ, the IWM. I also have a list of about 6 or 7 stocks that I'm specifically looking for this week. So we're going to dive straight into the charts here. What we're looking at is the SPY. This is the weekly time frame. And just so you can kind of see there, the low of 218.26 and then going all the way to a high of 411.67 current price. So there's a few scenarios that I want to kind of play out for you guys. There's several possibilities on the docket, and then I want to kind of morph that into a trade or a type of a trade setup that we can do. And for those of you guys who are new to the markets, just understand that markets don't go straight up or straight down or straight sideways. Well, they can go sideways for quite a while. One thing that we're looking at as a complete possibility in this market, what could happen in the next within this next week or two, we could see a slight pullback, maybe consolidation week, and then a rally out on up to 420, 430. I don't want to begin to give upside targets because we don't actually have a pivot up north. We're at all-time highs. But I want to be very clear on this as far as risk versus reward. Do I think right now is a good time to buy with a heavy position? Buying the market at these prices is the game of musical chairs. We don't want to be the ones caught at the top. And it doesn't mean it's going to have to be a top for a long time period. Like, what I'm looking for is some sort of pullback. It doesn't even have to be a correction. Honestly, you could just trade sideways, burn off some of that steam. But what we're looking at is in prior highs, you see a high up here, and then you see a drawdown, and then a double high, another pullback, and then it finally breaks out. And that's kind of what we're looking for. It doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. Like I said, we could come this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, rally right up to 420 and begin becoming more and more parabolic. And we know this, the harder and faster that it runs up to 420, the more likely it is to find some sort of resistance. I don't know at what price. I'm just using 420 as a hypothetical here. One thing I do notice is I see a lot of traders talking about the volume, and something I want to be a little bit more clear on the volume is it really doesn't mean if it works in your trading, that's great. But as far as the volume being an indication that we're coming into resistance, I would say that's not always the case. I think it would be more likely if we see a huge reversal candle, selling pressure accompanied by higher than normal volume, that would give me an indication that institutions are playing a part. But the market has been rallying for 10 years on lighter and lighter volume. And what we can do is we could just zoom out to a monthly chart and just take a look. Higher volume areas usually mean market bottoms, market sell-offs into capitulation into a bottom. And then as you can see, the volume tapers off from there. So that's one thing I just want to clear up about the volume. As far as the SPI, I don't necessarily see a trade just yet. As far as hedging, you can hedge. Just give yourself a little bit more time with the puts, because if if the market does trade sideways, we're probably going to lose money in premium. If the market rallies, of course, we're going to lose money on the puts, especially the naked puts. So just be very careful trying to short the market as far as the spider goes. Let's look at the next one. Let's look at the QQQ. And I do have a trade right now going in the Qs. If you guys are in the alert section of the Discord, you will see the alert sent out. And I should have been a little bit more clear about this because we have to be really careful, right? The market is extremely bullish, so we have to be careful taking these short trades. So what I'm doing is I'm specifically short on a specific time frame against the high of 338.19. So let's say I pick up one contract, pick up 2 contracts, pick up 4 contracts. To be honest with you, the price could go well above our high so long as the month closes below 338 or the week closes below 338.19. Something I wanted to kind of show you while we're on that topic, this is about 100% retracement. If I wanted to factor this in and I said, you know what, this was a market rejection at these prices, the market rejected from that area, this is a retracement or a possible retracement, we don't know that yet, retracement and then a continued sell-off. Or something that looks just like this, where you'll see comes into resistance once, comes into resistance twice, maybe it pulls back a little bit, or maybe it pulls back all the way and then begins rallying from there. We don't know just yet, but I just want to be a little bit more clear on this, is that it doesn't mean I'm going to continue holding or adding the contracts as we push 350, 360, and it's just like a perpetual short squeeze. I'm going to hold on to these contracts. What it is it simply means that I think that we're at this stage in the market, and I think we're coming back in for a back test. I think that there could be a little bit of selling or a little bit of profit taking. That's a better word to use for it. Could be profit taking, but to be honest with you, with this market and where the SPY is, it is highly, or let's say this, it would not surprise me to see price cut right through that area like a hot knife through butter, or like a rocket. Let's go to IWM because I wanted to show you something as far as the 100% retracements go. And with IWM, we kind of see the same kind of behavior. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to a daily chart and kind of show you as far as why we don't take these 100% retracement. I'm going to short the market at 100% retracement. So here's a low in here. Here's another low. This is at support. You also have this rising wedge or bullish triangle, whatever consolidation you want to call it. But point is that there's support down in this area. And what we saw is we saw the IWM rally all the way up to 234, and then it pulled back 100%. And for those of you who are in the Discord, you'll see these alerts going long down on this day. And this is what I mean is this is not a good area to short the market at a 100% retracement. In fact, even if we cut this low a little bit, that also is not a good place to short the market. What we do is we wait for the price to fall through support. We let it rally, maybe do a back test, and then continue selling off. That's a good short entry. Another way to do this is look for the rejection and then wait for price to get up there again. And that also could be just like you would do it on the flip side. You're buying at support, you're selling at resistance, that kind of scenario. Always have the understanding that we can definitely run right through that area. And I'm not showing you that trade setup for IWM. I'm just saying in general, looking at the Qs, if I don't lose you guys on this one, grab some popcorn, a cup of coffee, hit the pause button. What I mean with the Qs anyways, I don't want to go long right here, right? Same thing on the downside. When the price is all the way down here, I don't want to short it while it's already all the way down at 300. It's a day by day. The market is dynamic. It is ever changing, and so we have to take note of these things. But the one thing I noticed as far as the bullish scenario goes is on the Qs is that we do have a run up to this price, and then we consolidate it. It wasn't a huge consolidation, but we do have 2 days just now underneath this 338 area, or actually a little bit below that area. 2 days now, so maybe we'll get more consolidation. And I'll say this, the more that price consolidates in this area just underneath resistance, the more probable it is, the more likely it is to find its way through resistance. So keep that in mind as far as your naked puts go, and make sure you buy enough time on the contracts to where even if it does sell off a little bit, or if it trades sideways, then it won't completely burn the contracts. Now onto the actual setup itself, as far as what I think a better setup would be, is that that was scenario 1. Scenario 2 is this. If the QQQ and the SPY consolidate in time rather than in price, meaning if we don't see a massive sell-off or rejection in the spider or the NASDAQ, what I'm looking for is a little bit possible rotation into the IWM. And I know that sounds contrary as far as the trades go, because, well, why are we going to be long one market and short the other market? Well, it really depends on where the money's going. We did see a huge run up in the IWM, the small caps. We saw a huge run up going into the end of 2020, and now we've seen this cool off period where the market is basically trading sideways. You see this pullback, and I understand that this could be a head and shoulders pattern. That definitely can be. When it breaks the neckline, it will become possible head and shoulders. But until that happens, this could also be looked at as like it's just higher highs and higher lows. So we don't know what this is right now. I see a up move, consolidation, up move, consolidation. Is this run right here, is this going to be a breakout to higher prices? Are we going to find ourselves, by the way, if the Qs go parabolic and the SPY goes parabolic, I think there's definitely a trade setup available in the IWM. I think it'll pull the IWM with it to the upside. And you never know, we could be in IWM 235 before you know it. While we're on that trade setup, so I am looking at IWM this coming week. I want to pay attention to what the Qs are doing, and I want to pay attention to what the SPY is doing, and across the board, what are all the markets doing? And since we're on that point here, not to jump around completely on you guys, I'll do a little recap. But do we think this is bullish or bearish? Financials, XLF. Do we think that this is going to create higher prices? Most likely. How much of the XLF is in the SPY? And as far as IWM, how many financials are in the IWM? And so I am looking for a bullish IWM scenario. For those of you guys who are in the IWM short right now, that was fun and good while it lasted. I don't know if I'd be willing to like try to squeeze this out to the downside. We should have already booked profits on this last couple days if you haven't already. While we're on the IWM trade, I want to go through a few different charts for you guys, and I want you to tell me in the comment section underneath if you think this is bullish or bearish. I'm going to run through the top 10 or 15 charts really quick, and you tell me these are all going to be in the IWM. So we have RH, bullish or bearish at the highs. And maybe some of these look like they're going to break out. At the highs, looks like it's going to break out. This is DECK. The next one is LAD. The next one is SITE. Then we got good old INVAX. I know this one looks a little bit scary. Maybe it got a little bit ahead of itself, but maybe it will find support in here. I'm not saying there's a trade here to the long side. I'm just pointing out the chart. We are up 3.47%. That does not look like a good bullish setup, but it could be. Let's look at DAR. Bullish or bearish? It looks like it wants higher prices. TTEK looks like it wants higher prices. BLDR, same thing. And the list goes on. And the list goes on. All these charts look like they want higher prices, right? And so I'm looking at the IWM as a whole. As a whole, is there a trade setup in the IWM? And I believe that if we have consolidation in the Qs and in the SPY in more time than in price, or if they become parabolic, I believe there's a trade setup definitely in the IWM. Here is plug, good old plug. I have two alerts set up for price breaks out, breaks down. In TRA, it looks like it could set up for higher prices here. CHDN, I don't really like the look of this chart. It looks a little bit more bearish. We're below 2 of the averages, but you get the point. RUN, I also don't like this chart below all of the moving averages. So we get the kind of the best, the flavors of both world kind of thing. Whatever the saying is. Somebody leave the comment under there what the saying is. PENN, I like this setup. In fact, I almost am considering taking a trade out of this coming into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on price action, and maybe not in the daily chart, but maybe let's go down to a 2-hour chart or a 4-hour chart. And good old GME. Not that I'm suggesting on this one taking a long trade. However, it could be looked at as these last several days in here where you have this bullish move off of this area and it's creating a consolidation area. And by the way, if there ever was a trade in this, it would be just drawing a line going down the highs of all these candles and waiting for the breakout to actually take a long trade. But in bullish context, this definitely can be a bullish pattern in here. I like the consolidation as far as taking a bullish trade. Now, those are the charts. The actual trade, one of the 2 or 3 of the trades that I want to take, the main one is in the IWM. So that's what I'm looking for. What I'm specifically looking for is to take out the highs of Friday. That will give me a buy signal. I also wouldn't mind retracing back down to the low of this candle. Let me zoom in just a little bit more so you guys can kind of see what it is that I'm talking about. So we have this higher low scenario. What I'd be looking for is definitely want to take a long trade. If price can come back down here one more time, I'm willing to go long. Or if price can just simply break Friday's highs, I'm willing to go long. I think there's been enough consolidation in here where I don't think that price is just going to stop at 225, although it could run up there to that resistance and stop and turn around. I don't think it's as probable since we've been consolidating underneath that price. That's the actual trade. Now, I want to jump into the next section, guys. I'm going to go into the charts that I definitely see some interest in. I'm definitely looking at taking long trades on all of these charts. So I'm going to run through them really quick and kind of give you the rundown. First one up. Let me take a breather. First one up, FUBO. I actually don't like the daily chart as much. If I look at this chart, it doesn't really look appealing to me. It looks like we came into a little bit of resistance. We're having a hard time getting above this area of $25, around 25, 30 roughly. But there is a 35% short interest, so I thought that was a little bit interesting. I checked that out. I do like that as far as could this be a potential runner? And the answer, I think, is yes, it definitely can be. I don't like this context down in here, but we did already break down out of this pattern, this consolidation pattern. We broke down out of it. So what I would have expected is price to trade sideways and get rejected and head to the south, and it didn't do that. What happened was it rallied back up into this area, and this is the channel I'm talking about. It rallied back up into the channel, created a lot of action in here, and then rallied off of the $20 area. I think there was a little bit of profit taking in the end of the day, midday, whenever that was. A little bit of profit taking. I think there can definitely be some more bullish behavior in this chart, and so I'm definitely looking for some sort of signs that this would lead me to more of a bullish fashion coming into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I think there's enough interest across the internet that it could begin to give us a type of run, and that people have been so patiently waiting through this massive decline to go ahead and ride it on up there. Okay, so the next one we're looking at is DASH. We've been involved in this one back around IPO. I do like this price action on the daily chart. You do have a lot of consolidation here. The only reason why I'm kind of bringing this up is that I'm not saying, and I mean no offense by this, but this could be the dash for trash rotation where we see money coming out of, or money even consolidating in the Qs and SPY and heading for the IWM or heading for these names that people have been holding for quite a while, waiting for some sort of movement. Now we can begin looking at them. I do like this curling action in dash, and the thing is, there's enough consolidation in this area that if we do get the breakout that we're looking for, if we do get a breakout and continuation, this can run really fast. I haven't actually looked up the short interest. I think it's kind of, it will add a little bit. It's almost like the cherry on top. But this price action, just the last candle that we see on the chart, is enough convincing for me that I'm willing to take a long trade, especially if we can get a little bit of a pullback down into the 130 area, 135 area. Definitely won't be willing to go long, or a breakout above Friday's high of 140.91. Next one, RKT. I've been seeing a lot more talk about this one. I'm actually really surprised that RKT is trading at what it's at today. I felt like by now it should have been into the 40s, 50s, $60 price area, but it's not. It's having a really hard time. I think there could be some selling going on still as far as people, you know, the price being held back a little bit. If I go to the hourly time frame, something I kind of noticed in here though, I do like this price action as far as coming into support twice. We have this double tap at support of around $22, and then we have this bullish move out of here, and it's been consolidating sideways. So I do like this on the hourly time frame at support, rally away, trading sideways, usually results in a continuation move to the upside. So I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to take a long trade out of this. Let's say Friday's high, let me give you an actual price on that. Let's say it's around 22.83. Get above 22.83, I'm willing to take a long trade. Getting below $22, I'm not willing to take a long trade. Next one, BFLY. This one has 25% short interest. Let's go out to the daily time frame. Here is the daily chart. And as far as this one goes, not just the short percent. What I like about this is same kind of scenario we just saw on RKT, but this is more on the daily chart. You do see how it came down into support here. Same thing, it rallied away, and now we're consolidating in a sideways fashion, usually to the upside. The only thing I don't like about this chart, and the only thing that makes me a little bit hesitant, almost not willing to take a trade, is that we are below all three moving averages, and that's not necessarily the most bullish thing to be seen. So the next one we're going to look at is CHPT. This one I don't particularly like the look of this. I'm going to zoom in here, just kind of show you. I did notice this 85% short. That's pretty high. We haven't seen numbers like that since the good old GME short squeeze, which we all know was well above 85%. But I did think that that was a little bit interesting. We do have this rally away from here, and I kind of looked at this price area as definite area of interest, area of support. As you can see on the volume on the left side of the screen, you see how this was a prior breakout area. We came back into that area once, we came back in twice. If we come in a third time, I don't know if that area will hold, but I do know this. I do like the price action off of support. You have the price action in the northern direction, a little bit of consolidation. It almost looks like a bull flag. Not saying that it'll actually play out all the way to 37.50, but maybe we'll at least get a run up here to $33 if it breaks out. So that's definitely on my watch. And this one can run because of the high short interest. BLNK, same thing. We have a 40. This one we got a 43%. I haven't actually looked at the days to cover, so that might be something we could look at. But as far as this price action, and this is kind of what we're looking for as far as higher highs, higher lows. We did get the breakout. Here is the breakout of that area, pullback, back tested. I do like these last 2 days. Let's say this was Thursday's and Friday's price action. As far as the daily chart goes, if I zoom in a little bit more, you'll see the consolidation just inside bar on this breakout. This is what we're looking for. So I would be looking for higher prices in BLNK. I do not have a position right now. It'd be amazing if we opened up the day around the same price area. I'd be willing to go long, putting a stop just underneath this last pivot down here of around 38.94. Last one, CLOV. CLOV, same kind of consolidation we were just talking about. Not that I like being underneath most of the moving averages, but we do have a 30%, 34% short interest. And the thing with this one is same kind of scenario where I had a bounce at support, and I don't think this chart, I think that's an all-time low. This is probably an all-time low down here. So you can see this name was pretty hyped up across the market, and people were saying buy it up here, double down up here, just keep buying more and buying more and buying more. And I never think that that's the greatest philosophy as far as doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down. You can lose a lot of money, and of course, once they capitulate and they all throw up their shares, $6.30. Think of all the people that were buying up here. They were buying up here and they were chasing price and they were chasing price. Think of the amount of people trapped in this. And now, do I think that this is a little bit overextended to the downside? I believe it is. I think the mean for this, as you can kind of see on the left side of the screen back here, I know nothing of this company and I don't really care. I would $10.19 seems reasonable considering where the price was before all the meme stock slash all the hype, especially in this one, came into play. So I think it's reasonable to expect that we could get back up to $10.70. But more than that, I like this price action off of Thursday and Friday. You see the same kind of behavior where you see this bullish move on heavier than normal volume. This is definitely probably institutional participation. And then you have an inside bar waiting for maybe a couple more days consolidation. I'm definitely willing to go long on any of these areas in here. And with an understanding that I will be having my stop loss underneath $7. The problem is we're pretty far away from that area. So what I'm going to do to limit the risk is, instead of doing whatever you guys want to trade, let's say it's 1,000 shares or whatever you have, let's say it's 500 shares. Instead of doing 500 shares, I'm going to do 250 shares, or look into options if they even offer options, and limit that. Once we get above the $9 area after consolidation, then I will be doubling that shares, whatever we went with. So I wouldn't go hard into this one with heavier than normal shares. Just that's kind of how I do it. I mean, everyone has their way. Anyway, I am long-winded. That's it for this video. If you guys gain value out of this, feel free to hit the like button, share it with your friends, share it with your homies, and feel free to subscribe to the Discord. The link is in the description of the video. We'll see you guys in the next one.